Culture, everybody. Hello. Are you ready for this Hebridean Baker shenanigans to begin? Yes. So, if you feel comfy standing, stand. If you feel like having a wee seat, get a wee seat. And for those of you who have been queuing very patiently for a drink, they are going to bring more out. So just look thirsty and distraught when the cocktails come out. You might get an extra one. But I'm going to pass you over to Jeff, my wonderful new friend here.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming on this beautiful but very warm day. We're grateful for you to be here with us at this event. I'm sorry there was apparently a snafu that I've just become aware of. The store is not open where we're going to be directing people who went there instead of here. So I apologize if you went to the store and had nobody to direct you. So I'll have to figure out what's going on later on with that. But I thank you so much for coming. This is such an exciting event. I'm thrilled to have Konish. I'm going to say what I asked him if I could say. I'm thrilled to have this hot, sexy chef from Scotland. And I think we may have, and I'll know at the event, a couple of you asked about cookbooks. We may have a few left. I'll know before this is over. So if you had asked about it and you didn't pre-buy it, I think I'm going to be able to accommodate that. You will probably already know where the restrooms are, the bar, and all that kind of stuff, the food. But I wanted to let you know we have more books arriving from the publisher in the next couple of days, and the hot Scottish chef will be here for a week. So we'll get them signed for you. So if you buy one today, you can buy it and you ring up the sale today. We'll get it signed to you. If you're not living here or in the area, then we'll ship it to you for free. I was expecting a shipment on Friday, didn't come, but this is the highest number of cookbooks we've ever sold for the event. Congratulations. So just very quickly, everything else is back to the store. All the other book events that you'll see on the website. I wanted to mention two things. One is that we have on July 25th, James Gavin coming with his brilliant biography of George Michael. And I'm thrilled that the tribute concert that's happening at the Crown and Anchor right now, that the star will be coming to that event and singing a few songs. And then we got a lot of emails from people about August, Ryan O'Connell. Ryan O'Connell's new novel, his brilliant new novel. People are going crazy over it, and also the fact that he is one of the co-stars of the new Queer as Folk reboot that's on Peacock Network set in New Orleans. And so that event, I think, is going to have a reception as well. I'll find out more from his publicist and whatnot, and his agent. So that should be a lot of fun. That'll be outside behind the store. Everything else is on there. Thank you so much for coming out, and I know that a lot of you have a sold-out bear cruise to go to. So without further ado, I hand you over to the sexy one.
People are in your waiting room.
Absolute pleasure. For those of you who don't know what my name is, or don't know how to pronounce it, I promise you, really easy. It's Kanyoch. Okay? That's so easy. Yes, Kanyoch. But I am so lucky today that I'm going to introduce you to a great friend of mine who's going to help me with a wee Q&A and to help you tell some stories. But there will be time for you to ask questions, to do photos, for the books to be signed, for hugs, anything you want. I can be here all day. But can I introduce my wonderful friend Anthony to come up and join me here? And Anthony, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Hey everyone, Anthony. I met Konyak 5-6 years ago here in Provincetown. Also thought he was a very sexy Scottish man. You weren't a baker back then, was in the US, so maybe a bit of a singer. So, one of the things that drew me to Kenya, I'm just going to use that name, was the fact that he made it all the way to Provincetown from Scotland, and not only Scotland, but kind of the faraway reaches of Scotland. So tell us a little about life in the Hebrides and what it's like to grow up as a gay man and live as a sexy gay man there.
Oh, I love all this. Well, first question, who's been to Scotland? Oh my goodness, amazing. Who's been to the Hebrides? Okay, right, a couple. Well, I suppose the first thing is I hope the book really inspires you. For those of you who haven't been to Scotland, I hope it inspires you to come to Scotland. For those of you who have been, I really hope it inspires you to come to the Hebrides, because it really is a beautiful place. For those of you who don't know, I'm from the Isle of Lewis, which is the farthest north of the Outer Hebrides. We're quite far away, but we don't call us remote. We're just far away. Because remote makes you think that you've got to be somewhere else, like Edinburgh or London. But we're happy where we are. And it's a really beautiful, rugged, stunning place, very unique. We are Scottish, but we're just a wee bit different. You know, obviously we speak a different language. We might chat about that later and speak in Gaelic. Our culture and our identity is influenced by being part of Norway for 400 years before Scotland bought us. Scotland bought the Hebrides for 1,000 merks in 1266, which is about £2.50. And every year, the Scottish government has to pay the Norwegian government £100 to keep the Hebrides Scottish. So, depending on how Brexit keeps going, I might just maybe stop them paying, or we can move over to Norway. It is a really special place, and yeah, it's you're already a wee bit different being Hebridean. So being Hebridean and a gay man, then that just adds a wee bit of kind of difference as well. But I'm very proud that this book has meant I've been able to talk about being from the Hebrides, but also my amazing partner Peter, who isn't here, but I know a lot of you know him from videos or from the book. He's the good looking one. You know, you're supposed to have the brains and the beauty. He's the brains and the beauty. I'm just starting with the one in the kill. But he is amazing, and we are very lucky to have been so accepted as a couple on the islands. Peter has his own gardening TV show called Garda Fadric. So if you can do one of those wee sneaky BBC, you know when you get those VPN things to allow you to watch, BBC Alba is the Gaelic channel in Scotland, and you can tune in and watch Garda Fadric there. And I pop up every so often. All those kind of things. So yeah, we're pretty lucky that we've become accepted as a good pair. So
Amazing. So you know, I can't not talk about the language. Again, met Kenny, 2017, and he tried to explain his name to me, which I will explain. And Angus, his friend, also has an interesting way to pronounce that name, which I will say. Tell us a little about the differences of, you know, what is Gaelic, where does it come from, say a couple words. Tell us a little about the language. It's actually quite fascinating.
Well, so Gaelic's only spoken by 60,000 people in the world. And I'm off to Cape Breton on Saturday, where 5,000 of those speakers live. So there's 55,000 in Scotland, which is 1% of the population, and then 5,000 over in Canada. And it's a Celtic language, came over from Ireland, but came over from Ireland when, as I said, we had the Vikings. So does anybody speak Gaelic or Irish here at all? Well, if you were speaking Gaelic to me, the Irish, and I was speaking Gaelic, we could get the gist of what we were saying, but it is quite a different language, but they are our Celtic cousins. But it's, as I said, very influenced by Old Norse as well. So, for example, I'm from a village called Cromoar. Crow is the Old Norse for a cow, and Moar is the Gaelic for big. So I'm from Big Cow. The next village is Crobig, which is the Gaelic for little wee cow. So I was always very proud growing up that I was from the Vikings thought we had bigger cows than the next village. But for those of you who are interested in learning Gaelic, it's on Duolingo. You can learn it that way. There's an amazing YouTube series called Speak Gaelic as well. There's going to be, I think, over 100 episodes on YouTube. And you might see me appearing every so often on that as well. So it's a language we're very, very proud of, indeed. And so the fact that we can talk, talk in the supermarket, it's not a dead language in any way. You know, I speak it every day at home, so I'm very, very proud of it indeed.
Can you just say a few things for us, a few choice expressions? And then maybe we can repeat after him. Okay, so if you wanted to say, how are you? Okay, so maybe you're at the boat sloop tonight, or you're at the bear cruise, and you see somebody you think, oh, that's pretty cute. Maybe they'll speak to them. They might be Scottish, they might speak Gaelic. English, some Gaelic chatted lines. So you would maybe go up to them and say, oh, found you, Anthony. Kimara how?
Kimara how?
So Kimara how means, how are you? Okay, Kimara how. And Anthony, because he does speak Gaelic, would reply back, oh, honey, what's up, man? Tap a late. This is why I didn't used to get many dates. So, oh, honey, what's up, man? Tap a late. I am really well, thank you very much. Okay, so there you go. That's awesome. Thank you for that. So we're going to go in two directions. But I'm going to stay with the Gaelic thing for a little bit, because Gaelic also plays a role in your singing and your music life, and potentially your baking. So talk a little bit about that. Maybe tell us about how you got into traditional singing, what role that plays in your life, and maybe how it influences your baking even.
Yeah. Well, when you grow up in the Hebrides, everybody sings. It's not it's not a strange thing to sing. Everybody sings and tells stories. I luckily got my storytelling from my father and my height from my mother. My father was 5'7" and drank a lot of whiskey, but told good stories. Luckily, my mother was 5'11", a very strong big woman. So that I got my banking strength from my mother. Gaelic was very much kind of like the house language. And we have a thing called the Mod, the Royal National Mod. Has anybody heard of the Mod? It's basically like the Eurovision Song Contest, but less fireworks and more kilts. We actually call it the Whiskey Olympics, because it's like an endurance. Not only do you have to sing, but you have to drink a lot of whiskey. So I've been performing at that for about 35 years or so, Gaelic singing has really given me such an amazing opportunities. Myself and Peter won the duet, the Royal National Mod a few years ago. Has anybody heard of Runrig, the band Runrig?
Yes.
Yeah? I toured with Runrig as one of their backing singers for their last tour, which was unbelievable, singing in front of 25,000 a night at Stirling Castle, one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I also sang for Scotland at the Eurovision Choir Song Contest. We sang in Gaelic as well, and I've sang at Eurovision as well. I was one of the backing singers for Iceland 2 years ago when we came fourth. So it's been amazing, like being able to sing and perform. The only challenge is because I'm a baritone, I always sing the harmony. So when people say sing a tune, I don't know the tunes. Peter sings the tunes, and I kind of sing, along with it. But do you want to hear a wee?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a type of music called Porstavial, which is very specific to Gaelic, and it's called mouth music. Okay, and it's from the days where people couldn't afford to have instruments, and so they created a type of singing which would allow us to do ceilidh dancing, traditional Scottish dancing. Okay, so you would often have a strathspey and a reel, and they would be sung in a way that people could kind of dance along. So if anybody would like to dance, if anybody knows a Dashing White Sergeant or a Strip the Willow, I know some Scottish people here, so if anybody wants to do a wee Highland Scottish as I do this. But so the thing about Porstavials is they often make notes that make gobbledygook. They're not really supposed to make that much sense apart from telling the way to dance. So, okay, I haven't done this for about 10 years. Okay. Seanich Nicomerich, Gorboyo, Kronyaki, Seanich Nicomerich, Soholer, Fer, Toror, Seanich Nicomerich, Gorboyo, Kronyaki,
Seanach na gomerich sole fair and toro. Samnareir chunemi, holami sa chunemi. Samnareir chunemi na kudavan and Seanach. Samnareir chunemi, holami sa chunemi. Gramnareir chunemi na kudavan and Seanach. Nia na caliche crottige crubi, jumpige cool, strotgeherum, Vrebehi cassen mar shacher and nola, jumpige cool, strotgeherum. Nia na caliche crottige crubi, jumpige cool, strotgeherum, Vrebehi cassen mar shacher and nola, jumpige cool, strotgeherum. Jumpige cool, jumpige cool, strotgeherum. O nia na caliche crottige crubi, jumpige cool, strotgeherum. Very cool. Very cool. So what does it mean? It's about this old. It's about an old,
big cow.
an old crotchety granny is the main thing. He's getting married at 80 years old. That's the kind of crux of the story. So, aye. For those who want to know more, I'll tell you all later. Excellent, excellent. So let's pivot a bit to the book and your baking. You know, your book has a ton of stories, a lot of kind of background and history. Tell us a little about what inspires your baking, how this all came to be, how we're all here today.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for coming today. Honestly, I've had so many wonderful experiences from this book, and it really all started out. I have a wonderful aunt, my dad's oldest sister, Belak. I think if you look in the book, it's about page 20. Somebody go in the book, it's about page 23. Tell me if you find a beautiful picture of a lady about in the pages about 20. Anybody see? What number of pages is it?
22.
23, okay.
Yes.
I feel like I did do a lot of my book tour in the south, so I feel like I'd be a preacher. Turn to page 23 in the Hebridean Bacon pulpit. So that's my Aunt Belak, and she's 93. I mean, my absolute hero. If I look back at her 53, never mind 93, I'll be delighted. And she still bakes and laughs every day. And I was just happened to be round at her house. She lives in the next village, and we were by the stove, by the fire, and she was telling a story of. She was actually telling the story of her wedding day, which had been 70 years previous, and about the bake that's in her book that she made that morning for the wedding. I was thinking, when she was telling me the stories and teaching me how to bake that recipe, I actually thought I want to make sure people on my island know about this. I didn't even think anybody off the island would be interested in these stories and everything. But so I started creating wee videos and telling stories along with the recipes, and now 20 million people have watched so there's it's a lot of traditional Scottish recipes, some classic recipes with a Scottish twist, yeah, give some a try. They're nice, wholesome, cozy recipes, maybe a bit more wintry in their style, because and Bear Week appropriate, yes. Yeah, I really hope you love the recipes. Lots of family favorites, lots of people up here in the book. So yeah, I really like it.
So just picking up on that, favorite recipe in the book and favorite maybe associated story.
Okay, right. Well, let's start with the story. You've heard the story before, so you just laugh at the end, okay? But as I said, my father was very much a storyteller, but he was also a big drinker. Okay, so you always took his stories with a wee bit of a pinch of salt. Okay, you never knew how much of the story was true. But do we have any Golden Girls fans? Yeah. Okay, picture it. Hebrideans, 1992. Okay, my father was a fisherman, and he was rowing home from being out of the creels, getting some lobsters and things. And remember, this is his story. So suddenly he's rowing back, and suddenly, and he turns round, and he's smashed into a big boat. Okay, and he looks up, and he realizes it's the Royal Yacht Britannia. And he's leaning over the side of the boat with the Queen and Princess Margaret. Okay, so the Queen shouts down, "Where have you been?" And he goes, I've been out fishing, where have you been? And she says, well, we're on our way to Balmoral, but we're broken down. Oh, that's terrible, he says. Do you have anything in for dinner? Now, I'd be surprised if the Queen left Buckingham Palace without anything in for dinner. But according to the Queen, she said no. Right? So my father says, well, do you like lobsters and shellfish? Oh, yes. Now, according to my father, Princess Margaret is very adept at catching a rope and pulling a creel of lobster up. So she threw Princess Margaret the rope, she pulled it up, threw all the shellfish onto onto the boat, and then the Queen went, I'm the Queen, I don't carry any money. How can I pay you? And he says, don't worry, it's a gift from the village. But then Margaret said, do you smoke? Now my father, as most old fishermen, smoked tobacco, old kind of roll-up tobaccos. Now that was the first moment when we questioned the story, because she put this packet of fancy cigarettes in his creel and threw it back down. So when he showed us this, we were like, well, the nearest shop's 35 miles away. Where would he have got these fancy cigarettes? Anyway, he got back and showed her we're the last house in the village. So he stopped at every house in the way, got a dram, told the story. Sometimes Princess Diana was dancing, sometimes Prince Philip was doing something. The story kind of got added to us. But anyway, he told us the story, that was it, and kind of went into folklore. Anyway, 2 weeks later, postman arrives, and there was a letter from Balmoral. Mr. MacLeod, Cremora, Big Cow, Isle of Lewis, Scotland. Open the letter. Dear Mr. MacLeod, firstly, could you apologise to your village if we caused any trouble when we broke down a couple of weeks ago? We feasted on your lobsters and shellfish that night, and it's the best meal we had on the boat. Hope to see you next year. Lots of love. Queenie, or I don't know, Lizzie. So we all stood around and going, he's actually told the truth, it's an actual real story. So first now we were stunned, but I think I might be one of the only people in the world who can truthfully say that my father gave the Queen crabs. And she said thank you at the end of the film. And that genuine is a true story, and we still have the letters up on the wall. So I think that might be my favourite story. There's lots of stories about the islands and the Hebrideans and family and shenanigans. So I hope you enjoy the story.
Does anyone have a story that could top that? Because amazing. Tell us about the recipes then. What's your favorite one? Cheesecake maybe?
Do you know what? There isn't a cheesecake in this one, but I think firstly, who are the bakers here today? And who are the cake eaters? Okay, important to have both. Well, as I said, my Aunt Bellac's recipe, the duff or clootie dumpling as it's called on the mainland, that is the most Hebridean of bakes. If anybody is looking for a Hebridean husband or wife, the way to a Hebridean's heart is make a clootie dumpling. If you can make clootie dumpling, you'll have them run into you, I promise. So if you are looking for a Scottish husband or wife, that's the way to go for sure. So that's the one I would try, but I think the ones I really love are the ones that have stories behind them as well. And I sort of kind of picture when you're kind of serving the dish, maybe you're telling the story at the same time. So there's one called a bride's bun. And a bride's bun is a Shetland shortbread. Now, obviously as a Scottish cookbook, I needed to have the best shortbread recipe, in the book, and that's my favourite. It's from Shetland, which is the most northerly of the islands, on the way to Norway. And it's made by the mother of the bride on the day of the wedding. Now, when the bride comes home, you would think the mother would be, giving her a big hug and saying congratulations, but no, not in Shetland. She gets a big piece of shortbread, grabs it, and smashes it over her daughter's head, okay? And it's very good luck if the guests at the wedding catch a piece of the shortbread as it smashes over her head. Because if you put it under your pillow at night, and it's supposed to give you sweet dreams, and you dream of the person that you're going to marry. So I kind of quite like these kind of recipes. That's a bride's bond. There's another one on Athol Bros. There's a few cocktail. Did everybody like the Harris gin, by the way?
Yeah. Fabulous.
Isn't it nice? It's flavored with sugar cap with Hebridean seaweed, and I found out that you can get it in Perry's at the off license at the bottom. A lot of people not only love what's in it, but the bottles are so beautiful. You see them everywhere with wee twinkly lights and all those things. So thank you to Harris Distillery for providing that. But there's some cocktails and things like that as well. But there's one called, let me get this right. What recipe is it again? It's an Athol Bros. No, it's not the Athol Bros. Oh, a Scots Flummery. Okay, Scots Flummery. A Scots Flummery. So seemingly Flora MacDonald was halfway through a Scots Flummery when she was arrested for helping Bonnie Prince Charlie escape from Culloden. And I thought, well, that's, it's got whiskey and honey and cream, and I thought, if I'm going to jail, that's not a bad wee treat to have just before you get put into jail for the next 20 years. So I do hope that if you are going to bake some of the recipes, maybe you'll tell the stories, at the same time. So.
Awesome. So, I've been asking a lot of questions, and I should say I was asked to moderate this 10 minutes before I moderated. So, thank you. Good job. Audience, this is audience participation time. Any questions from the audience for Honyoch?
What's the Michigan connection?
I know. So basically, I did a US book tour in May of 2 weeks, 12 cities in 13 days. Luckily, Jean saw me on the second day when I was still pretty much standing up. By the last day, when we saw Joel in Dallas and a few others who are here, it was an endurance race, to say the least. But my cap broke when I was in Nashville, and I just went into a shop and said, "Can I just buy 6 caps? You can't get these. Get these in Scotland." And so he said, "Yeah." He just picked out 6 caps. Unbeknownst to me, I now have connections to Michigan. I have connections to, last night I was wearing my Alabama cap, which got a lot of people very excited. Then there was a Notre Dame cap I've got. So apologies if you see me in the street and I'm wearing a cap, I have no idea, no idea what I'm wearing. So look at the kilt. What is it? My eyes are up. My eyes are up here. My kilt is down here. But I pretend it's just M from a cloud.
Good question. Good question. Anything else from the audience?
I have a question. I work at a music conservatory, and the most famous composition that is connected to the Hebrides is by a German composer, Felix Mendelssohn.
Yes, of course.
It's also known as Fingal's Cave.
Yes.
And I was wondering if that was on your island or nearby.
So this is. Oh, you're a superstar. Thank you very much. So yes, Mendelssohn wrote the Hebrides Overture, and it was set in Staffa.
Oh, okay.
The island of Staffa, which is one of the inner Hebrides. So you get there, so you go to Mull, then you get the ferry to Iona, and from Iona you get the ferry to Staffa. But has anybody been to Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
What's the Giant's Causeway? Giant's Causeway. So basically, the Giant's Causeway is the inside part of Fingal's Cave. It's spectacular. I've been to Fingal's Cave. It's one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. And he wrote it while in the cave.
Yes.
And it is a beautiful piece of music. And yes, have it as your soundtrack to the afternoon, unless you're going on the bear cruise. But it's on the island of Staffa, but it's beautiful, and I highly recommend it.
I think he was there in the 1830s and 40s, and so he would have had to have taken like a sailing ship from Mull to Iona.
Absolutely, absolutely.
A ferry.
Yeah, so very special
hard to get
place.
to.
Very special place indeed. So I think we have a question at the back there as well.
Is that your dog in
do you pronounce the name?
Apologies for making everything so complicated. When I was doing the tour, I was on this TV show in Seattle, New Day Northwest of the social media. And the poor woman is going, okay, we're going live in 20 seconds. How do you say your name again? It's Kanya. Okay, Connie. No, Kanya. Okay, right, 10 seconds to go. Just say your name again. Kanya. Connie. And she goes, and he goes, okay, 3, 2, 1. How do you say it, Kanya? And we're live with Connie. I was kind of looking. Anyway, so Canioch, but the West Highland, Wee Westie is Shortus. And Shortus is the Gaelic for George. And he is 14. And he's an absolute trooper and loves chicken. So if you ever meet him, that's all you need. Is a wee piece of chicken and he'll be your best pal by that. Yes, sir.
So in the cookbook, what is your favorite recipe on a cold winter night?
On a cold winter night. Well, that's a good question. A cold winter night. Well, can I start with a dram first? Can I start with a cocktail to warm you up? Because I know you're from Greece, so I know you need to warm up on a cold winter's evening. So I've got a recipe called a Hebridean Hogmanay cocktail. So Hogmanay is what date of the year?
New Year's Eve.
And in Gaelic it's called Eichale, we call it. And so I made a cocktail for Hogmanay, and it's very simple. Do you know when you get cocktails and they're very fancy, and there's creme de this in it, or there's this? I like cocktails that have one spirit, okay, one spirit. So what you do is you make a glass of herbal tea, like a kind of fruity tea, and you boil that, and you scoop in 3 tablespoons of marmalade, okay, into that, and let it cool, okay? Then get your glass, double dram of whiskey. I'm a Jura whiskey fan. That's my favorite. I like a Highland Park as well. The Jura whiskey is my favorite. And so a double dram of that. Then get your cold marmalade infused tea. Top that up, and a squeeze of clementine juice if it's winter time, or orange juice. Chef's kiss. So that will be the start of your night.
Wait. If you weren't already together and if I wasn't already together, and if things were different in my
Things
life,
were different.
I would want to go on a date with you.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so first time on the date. Not a bad start. But there is lots of
I think so. We are now.
but there's, as I said, lots of very cozy, wholesome recipes in the book. But one thing that makes everything better is custard. Okay, and I find that a lot of people ask me in America, what's custard? Is custard not really such a thing here? Basically,
Really? Yeah, we call it pudding.
right, no, but custard. Come on, my salts here.
No,
Everything.
it's not really a thing here.
It's not a thing
as
here.
we know it.
No.
No.
But
Yeah.
isn't it that everything is better with
Oh
custard?
my God, everything.
Everything is better covered in custard. So there is a vanilla custard recipe in there, and whatever sponge, cake, pudding you make, you just pour it over everything. Vanilla custard over that.
Stewed apples. And
Oh,
custard.
stewed apples.
Or
and
stewed
custard.
rhubarb and custard.
Rhubarb and custard.
Oh my God.
Everything. Well, funny you say that actually. I remember when you make a cookbook and you've got to make 75 recipes. Some don't work. You know, it's not like I did 75 things and they all worked out perfectly. And has anybody heard of a burnt Basque cheesecake?
Yeah.
Gorgeous. It's beautiful. But yeah, but it's burnt. And it's really hard to shoot it. So it looked like it should look, but when the photographer saw it, he was like, that is ugly. I said, I don't know what I can do with this. So he shot it, it looked terrible. So I went back in the kitchen, I was like, what? I've got I had 25 minutes to think of a new recipe for the book. And the exact flavors you mentioned there, rhubarb and custard. I made a classic Victoria sponge, but a rhubarb and custard Victoria sponge, and that has become a hugely successful. Like, there's a hotel chain in Scotland, but that's their signature cake now. It's the rhubarb and custard Victoria sponge. So, but lots of treats, and I hope you love them. And yes, I will go on a date with you. Yes. Well, I do. Is it okay if I tell you mine? Okay, so if you were to, again, on our date, if you were to cook me a 3-course meal, okay, that I would absolutely love to have. So I'm a big soup man, and there is a Scottish soup called Cullen Skink. Have you heard of Cullen Skink? Beautiful soup, isn't it, for my Scottish people in there? It's a smoked haddock. It's chowder, but it's not like chowder, if you know what I mean. It's delicious. So making Cullen Skink to start will already be pretty close by then. Then for the main, now I decided, of course I had to have a haggis in the book, okay? But when you write in a haggis recipe and the first line is, rip the lungs out of the sheep and slice them gently. It's hard to persuade people that that's a good idea. So I've gone for a vegetarian haggis recipe for the book, and it's delicious. And of course, what do you have haggis with?
Leaps and tatties.
Leaps and tatties, yes, potatoes and turnip, or sweet. So that would be my main. And my dessert would have to be my aunt's gluten dumpling. Absolutely. Gluten dumpling for us on the island, it was my brother's wedding cake. It's what you take out when you're working. It's the everyday cake for every occasion. So that would be my 3-course. So if you're planning to offer me that for my birthday, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, sir.
So sort of the converse of what his question was, what would be a recipe that you would make on a warm day like today?
Oh my goodness, I'm not very good in the heat, as you can tell. So I would just stick with cocktails, if I were you. Dan said there's a couple of great Harris gin cocktails. There's one called the Cayley Martini, which just even the name alone, a Cayley is a Scottish gathering with a dance. So I think I would recommend a Cayley Martini, and you won't need to worry about food for the rest of the day. Yes, sir.
When is the best time to visit the New Hebrides?
So, summer starts on the 15th of May and finishes on the 23rd. But generally we have a very late, it's a very short window. We have a very late spring. May is springtime, and May and June are the most beautiful times to visit the island. Obviously we're very far north, so the sun doesn't set at the end of June, so you've got nearly 24 hours a day of daylight, which is wonderful. And we have beautiful flowers, macher flowers on the beach. We have the most beautiful beaches on the island. Amazing culture, culinary stones, all these wonderful things to see. But my favourite time is the last 2 weeks in May. It still could be winter time, but that's my favourite time to come. So, any other questions?
What's your favourite gin?
My favourite gin, apart from the Harris gin?
Yeah, apart from the Harris
Well,
gin.
Harris gin is definitely my favourite. There is another one called Downpour, which is from North Uist, which is the island 2 down as well. That's very, very good as well. So I like that. But I am more of a I'm more on the dark side. I do like my whiskies and rums. So, as I said, Jura whiskey, 18-year-old, if anybody's in the bar tonight, is fine. 12-year-old I'll take, just be polite, but 18-year-old if you're Highland Park as well, which is a real favourite. Is anybody into the peaty whiskies? So you're more on the Isla and Skye side of the island. That's those ones. So Bunnahabhain, Brochladish, those kind of ones. But a Downpour gin. Try a Downpour gin.
Okay, I was just curious, yeah.
Oh, I'll go with this
Okay, I
one.
have to ask. So, in front of your kilt,
Yes.
that furry thing.
I have to look down to make sure.
To the 3.
Oh, the 3.
Yeah.
You know what? Right. So firstly, this is called a sporran. Spot on is a Gaelic word which means a purse, like just the same as a lady's purse. And simply, you got a wee clip at the back, and you keep your knickknacks here because we don't have pockets. So that's the first thing. And why you have 3 tassels?
Yeah.
I really hope that I could just think of a story off the top of my head that I could tell about a 3-headed monster coming out of.
Weren't they supposed to be rabbit's paws for luck?
Oh, that could, right, that's the story. It's a rabbit's paw,
Yeah.
and it's for luck.
I think, but I don't know about the 3.
This is brand new. This is debuting. So basically, I'm up to Hebridean on Saturday, and then I'm going to an event called Dress to Kilt in New York on a week Saturday, which is a Scottish fashion show in Long Island for the Navy SEALs. Okay. And last year it was.
Some of us perk up to that.
Well, last year it was Jared Butler, Nicole Scherzinger, and some son of some man called Trump who walked. This year it's me. James McAvoy, you know, from yeah. And no, they're announcing people every day. So I was announced a couple of days ago, then James McAvoy was announced yesterday. Do you know who was announced today? Brooke Shields. Oh, fun! I'm walking the catwalk with Brooke Shields. So yes, so I thought I'd better get myself a new spot on. For that. So, that one, and then Buddy will get you next.
So you
Yes.
could keep your clootie warm in that.
You could definitely keep the clootie
dumpling
warm.
So my question is, living out in the Hebrides, is it difficult to get all the food brought in and the ingredients and things that you need to?
It can be. Yeah, in the winter, I mean, it's very common that 3-4 days could go by and we have no ferries or no transport or no flights to get to the island. But we're very resourceful people. Your freezer is definitely your best friend when you live in the Outer Hebrides, so that you have everything kind of ready to go. But we can get most things, and everything in the book, there's nothing fancy in the book. There's nothing fancy. People ask me, like, there's differences to some American things like what we call baking soda, we call bicarbonate of soda, what we call black treacle, you call molasses. The only thing that you can't swap, and even if you have to drive to, I don't know where's somewhere far away, Kentucky, whatever that is golden syrup, okay? You can't replace golden syrup, okay? And we put golden syrup in everything in our bakes. So you can get it in the world market, you can get it in Amazon and places, but get golden syrup. It's going to change your life if you're a baker.
Yeah, they have
It's
it.
basically sugar, liquid gold it is. But it's not like corn syrup, it's not like maple syrup, it's not like honey. It's its own thing, and I promise you, isn't it amazing, golden syrup?
On porridge.
Oh, on everything. Cornflakes, anything, I'll put golden syrup on, but definitely worth it. So, but
I have 2 questions. What does the Scotsman wear underneath the kilt?
Why doesn't take you bunch of tramps this long to ask this question? Well, what I wish I had under my kilt today was some deodorant, because it's quite warm. But you guys I'm speaking to, these ladies will tell you, I was chatting to these wonderful ladies here, and I was just when we arrived, I was like, there's something, I got my hat on, my shoes on, there's something not right. I was like, I still got my underwear on. So I just need a moment. So no, it is against the law to wear underwear in Scotland. We have special police that go around. These police, I'm always suspicious. I've never seen real like official cards, but they come around and ask. And if anybody says that a Scottish policeman tonight and asks me, can I see under your kilt, I'm still going to be suspicious. There all these Scottish policemen suddenly appear from in Provincetown. But no, honestly, for us Scots, it wouldn't be weird to wear pants. It'd be so strange, wouldn't it? It just wouldn't feel right. So it's.
Another basic question.
That's why you wear the sparn.
What are the things that grow in the Northern Hebrides?
Yeah.
Under the kilt? What grows? Well, actually not much, to be totally honest with you. It's a very barren landscape. So the two good things that do grow, potatoes and rhubarb. That honestly is two of the main things that grow in the islands and grow wonderfully. But it is hard to grow things, to be fair. It is hard to grow things. But. So, yes, and then we're going to do a wee quiz to finish. Okay, is that okay? Still got time?
What's your favorite North American ingredient to drink home?
Bourbon. But it's usually in empty bottles because I drink quite a lot. So anybody can afterwards, because we're going to afterwards do a sign-in, you can do photos, whatever. If anybody knows any good bourbons, please tell me, because I love. Do you know that thing they say, something in the streets, something in the sheets? So for me, it's bourbon in the streets, whiskey in the sheets. So bourbon on the way out, and whiskey on the way home. So that would be my thing. There we go. Okay, I've got, is there a bag somewhere there of things? Yes.
Sorry, I moved that.
Okay, I've got a wee quiz just to finish, a couple of prizes. You need a fashion accessory when you're in Provincetown, okay? So I have the fashion accessory. You know, it's not singlets that sheer, it's not jock straps, it's nothing like that. It is the Hebridean baker with me and Charles on it. So I've got a few, so to give out as gifts, to say thank you. I've only got a few, exclusive. But I'm going to ask a few questions about Scotland, okay? Is that okay? So for nearly all of you, can you all stand up? Is that okay? And we'll do one of those kind of stand up, sit down kind of things, okay? And then hopefully a few of you can win a prize. Okay, so everybody ready?
Ready.
Everybody feeling Scottish? Okay, so I'm going to do the thing. If you think the first answer is correct, put your hand up. And if you think the second answer is correct, keep your hands down. How does that sound? Okay? So let's start easy. So, here's your question. You know we like to have a wee monster in a loch in Scotland, okay? But where is the most famous Scottish loch monster? Put your hands up if you think she lives on Loch Ness. Keep your hands down if you think she lives on Loch Lomond. It's the Loch Ness monster. So those of you who keep your hands down, sadly you're out of the quiz. Damn it! So, that was supposed to be the easy question. So then you can take a seat or relax. This is very self-policed. So I'm just going to trust you that you get it right or wrong. Okay. What is the capital of Scotland? Put your hand up if you think it is Glasgow. Keep your hands down if you think it's Edinburgh. Hands up for Glasgow, hands down for Edinburgh. Right, you folk need to come to Scotland and get your geography right. Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. I also agree though that Glasgow should be the capital. But we're stuck with Edinburgh. Okay, so that's warmed you up a wee bit. Now, if you didn't know, I'm a proud supporter of Scottish independence, and we have a wonderful First Minister at the moment. What is the First Minister's name? So that's like the Prime Minister of Scotland. Okay, so put your hand up if you think it's Nicola Sturgeon. Keep your hand down if you think it's Mel Gibson. Well, most of you got it right. It's just that most people think Mel Gibson's the most famous Scottish person after doing Braveheart. So I just wanted to check. So, well done. Okay, right, let's get more challenging, Anthony. I think they're more Scottish than we thought. So, let's test you here. Okay, how many inhabited islands are there in the Outer Hebrides? Okay. Put your hand up if you think it's 15, and keep your hands down if you think it's 18. How many inhabited islands are there in the Outer Hebrides? 15, hands up, 18, hands down. There's not many of us. 15 is correct. Oh, now we're talking. Now we're at the hardcore. Now we're at the hardcore here. Okay, so then maybe let's go to some Gaelic. I know most of you are learning Gaelic at the moment, or just working through it. So I'll ask you a Gaelic question. I mentioned my name, Canioch. Canioch is a Gaelic word, okay? But what does it mean in English? Okay? So, if you think Canioch means handsome, why are you laughing? Handsome, put your hand up, okay? If you think it means to be a poet, a bard, keep your hands down. So, handsome, hands up, poet, hands down. Well, thank you very much, all of you. Look, I was a beautiful baby. It has gone downhill since then, I have to admit. But yes, Canioch is the Gaelic for handsome. So I think, wave your hands, the winners. There we go. We've got it. So when you come up to get your book signed, I should have enough tote bags to give you for that as well. So well done. Thank you very much, everybody. I just want to do a few thank yous. Firstly to amazing Anthony. Are you single this week, Anthony? Just to check.
I'm a married man.
You're single just this week. So thank you, Anthony, for stepping in and looking after me. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much to East End Books and Jeff here. Big cheers to Jeff. I'm in yesterday. Lots of hugs and a beautiful wee store. I hope if you haven't been to East End Books, please go and visit. It's such a lovely wee store. And thank you for looking after us and inviting us. And of course, the amazing Mary Heaton Vorse and all the people who work here and made this event happen. Absolutely beautiful. Everybody's come today. I still can't believe anybody I mean, I've obviously forced some of my friends to come, but some of you I didn't even force to come here, and it's okay. So that genuinely, I'm completely humbled that you've travelled or visited today. It means the absolute world to me. And a wee secret, if you do enjoy book one, I finished book two last week. And it will be released in the UK on the 29th of September. And my American publishers are meeting on Thursday, and I think it's going to be out before Christmas. So, Hebridean Baker, my Scottish Island kitchen. So lots more stories, lots more recipes, and photographs of me looking wistful and watching mountains, all those kind of things. So yes, something to look forward to hopefully for some of you coming up to Christmas. So.
I just wanted to mention, a lot of you who have been here before know, but I wanted to give another big thanks to, of course, Ken Folk, who saved this house from being condoed and renovated beautifully, lovingly, and does so many events for so many people and so many nonprofits. And also, Dean Tartaglia, who really makes everything run here. For people that are interested, there's two ways you could support this amazing place. One is to become a member of the Provincetown Arts Society, and the other is to join the St. Joseph's Arts Society, and that's for people that travel a good bit around the country, because there are other places in Ken's Empire, like the St. Joseph's Arts Society, the former Catholic church he bought in San Francisco and renovated. Is beautiful. He allowed the film festival to have an event back in January 2020 out there, where we did a 2.5-day event honoring trans filmmakers and writers, and I had a pop-up bookstore out there. It was amazing. So you can go on the easiest way to find out about this place is to, because they don't have a separate website yet, is to go to Google St. Joseph's Art Society. You'll find out about all the amazing things that they're doing and they're doing for people. And if you want to join, for those of us that live here, like I do year-round, you can join the Provincetown Arts Society. And they just do so many good things for so many people. So if you are able to join, it would help them in all the charitable endeavors that they do. And I think I saw, you might have gone already, Sarah Shulman, brilliant writer and playwright whose play, The Lady Hamlet, is currently at Provincetown Arts Theater. She's in residence. There are so many people from Ham Art Museum, Fine Arts Work Center, the Film Festival, so many other groups that they allow to come in and have a residency in those rooms that are upstairs that you see. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I want to thank again tenfold Gene Tartaglia, Provincetown Art Society. Thank you. And thank everybody for coming.
A wee photo of me and everybody behind me. Is that okay? Yeah. You're kind of quite good looking, so I need a photo. Just so people know that you're here. So you kind of cuddle in behind.
Sorry.
Oh, way to go, it's beautiful. So I'm going to take a photo and then I'm going to take a wee video of you like being really excited. Wow, the Hebridean Baker's finished. Very good. You know, that kind of excited. Okay, so this is a photo first. Okay, so all waves, 3, 2, 1. Oh, so cool. Okay, now be a bit more raucous. Now, this is to make everyone in Scotland jealous that they're hearing the sounds. Okay? So, I'm just going to shout 3, 2, 1, scream, shout, wave your books, do everything you can. Okay? So, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to be over there, signing the books, giving out free hugs, and any photos or anything you want. So I'll be over there, so just come and say hello to me as well. Okay, thanks everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.